Back here live at the Carrabba's Italian Grill on QSportsTalk.com, and welcome to those joining us here in the stream chat and those who are getting the notifications that we are on. So log in, say hi. Matt is in there already saying hi, and others will join here soon. But welcome back here, the exclusive QSportsTalk.com part of the show. And, Coach, the whole last half hour, we didn't have a chance to talk about the actual game coming up this weekend at Virginia. And I know they dropped one to Pittsburgh this week.
I still think they're the best team in the league. Really veteran team. They got a lot of answers. At the end of the day, I think they'll be the best team. But the league is just so balanced. I mean, Miami was beating everybody, and then they lose to Georgia Tech. But, it's a crazy league for Duke to be down 20-25 to NC State. I mean, they usually beat NC State every year. I mean, it's crazy. And, Clemson goes on the road and wins, and yeah, it's really,
what it is.
It's what it is. The games are incredibly even, and you just don't know what's going to happen.
We'll get to the questions here in the stream chat of QSportsTalk.com. Coach D5 wants to know, Coach, and I don't know if you would even know or venture a guess how many players on average enter the portal at the end of any given season, like at the end of this season?
Last year it was 1,600 players, I think, in college basketball entered the portal. Some didn't even get scholarships. Some
they entered and nothing happened.
Division II or something. Half of the ones that entered the portal did worse at the school they're at than they did where they were. And that's not unusual.
Is it a surprise when guys go in, or
no?
Do you know ahead of time that
yeah,
somebody's?
They usually come in and we talk about it, and they just tell you what they're going to do, and pretty much their mind's made up when they come in. So it's just the way. It's the modern era of college basketball right now.
This one from Ryan, and it's based on the incident. Not incident. It's just kind of funny, actually. The pro golfer Scott Stallings.
Oh yeah.
It's the question is, if there was a pro golfer on tour named Jim Boeheim and the Masters Committee mistakenly sent his invitation to you, what are the chances that you'd show up with your clubs to the Nationals?
Zero. not even one in a million. Some people might try, but no, not one in a million. And the guy did the right thing, told them, and I think the real Scott Stallings, professional golfer, invited the guy to come down and go to dinner. And
I think they're going to let him play in a practice round or something like that.
They're going to let him go. You can't play in it, but he'll let him go to it. That's great. That was nice.
That's a cool story. Matt wants to know, how do you think our guys do in regards to closing out on the shooters?
We're not as good as we need to be. Sometimes we close out and let guys just drive. It's a tricky thing because you want to take them away from that spot. But if you're all out after them and then they go by, now they can get an easy shot someplace else. So it's tricky. But it's part of basketball. And whether you play man-to-man or zone, you got to close out. And we could do a better job.
This one, just on this date in history type of thing, Coach, but it was Pistol Pete Maravich on this day, 1988. Is he still the all-time Division I scoring leader? He was for the longest time.
I think he is. In 3 years, yeah. I think he is.
And the fact that he did that before the shot clock and before the three-point line.
He'd have another 1,000 points. I mean, kid of Detroit's in his fourth year. He could catch them, but he'd have to, I think, average 35 or 40 a game. But, yeah, Pistol Pete was great player. Played in the tough conference, and they double-teamed him and everything else, and he averaged in the 40s.
And that's back. They had to play freshman ball because he couldn't play varsity, and his first game he ever played in college was a 50-point triple-double, I think, as I recall.
Probably was.
Let me see here, Coach. So what do you think of the new flop rule now midway through the season?
Yeah, I think it's a good rule. I don't like it. I thought a guy got away with a flop here against us. But sometimes a guy gets bumped and goes down, and they're trying to call that a flop. So it's a tricky call. I just want it to be an obvious flop, not close to it.
This one here, Coach, thoughts on Texas A&M delaying the Florida game and getting a technical because they didn't have the uniforms. The Florida coach was mad with the delay.
Well, I mean, stuff like that happens. I mean, I think it's human, and I don't think they didn't do it on purpose. I don't think there should be a technical there. I think they should just give them an opportunity. It's a freaky thing, happens once in a while. Why didn't they have the uniforms? Somebody get
that I don't know.
Stuck.
Managers forgot.
Is that what happened, Paulie?
Yeah, the managers forgot them at the hotel.
Well, that's where managers, they do so much, and it's unheard of that they would do something like that. They're really good. Our managers are great. All our managers are very successful in life because they can handle this job. It's a thankless, tough job. You got to do all this stuff, and it's good training for you to learn how to be successful, how to work hard,
Be organized, follow through,
all that stuff. So our managers have done really, really well out there.
I know earlier this evening, maybe this was the very first call when you were on with Matt, and I think his name is Vito, called, and he had said that he called during Steve's show earlier just to stick up for Paulie. A little credit for Paulie. Paulie's on that show too with Steve.
I know.
So Vito forgot to mention and give Paulie a little credit.
Yeah. Vito. You didn't ask me the question the same way you asked those. That's all right.
And, it is funny because I'll hear that myself driving around, and I'll hear somebody call, at 1 in the afternoon, and then maybe call here tonight. And it's old.
Well, the thing that's crazy is you get these things and they say, like in Ken Palm, if you shoot out in the wing, they blame it on the guard, but actually it probably could have been the forward, and they don't know that. They don't know who's responsible in our defense. Sometimes a shot goes in the corner, and it should have been the center, and they get blaming on the forward. They don't know that. They don't know that.
No. Chief is watching. I know Chief is in Oswego. Coach, who's the guy that sits to your left on the bench during games?
The left, my ops guy, Pete Corstini. He's the ops guy. He keeps the fouls and timeouts.
Another one here from Matt. Do you still think we're a tournament team, Coach?
Well, yeah. I mean, I always think we're going to be right to the end. I mean, I think we can get to the tournament. You have to think that way. Sometimes people will go later. They'll go, well, he thought there could be a tournament team and they're not, so he didn't know what he's doing. Well, no. I mean,
yeah. What are you going to say? No.
You never are going to say, well, no, our team can't get to the tournament. You always think you can get there. That's the way you have to think.
And by the time you get there at that part of the season, you might be playing a whole different way and more successful than you were in November and December.
Yeah, you hope so.
This one here, who asks the best questions, Steve, Paulie, or Brent?
That's a tough one.
It is.
It's hard to even pick a winner there.
We'll save that to like the last night, like at the end of the season when we get here.
I mean, everybody thinks I don't like this. I mean, there's no bad questions. I mean, they're all fine. I mean, it's the only thing I don't like is when I talk about something in a press conference and then somebody asks me what I just talked about.
It's like
you weren't listening.
You weren't paying attention there.
But so yeah, I mean, it's just questions are fine.
It's part of it,
It's just part of it, And it's just you can't. When people try to figure out who made a defensive mistake, they can't because they don't know our defense. They don't know what we're trying to do. And that's true of man-to-man or zone. It can be either one. You just can't pick, it's his fault because it's usually a combination of guys who didn't make the right reactions. But that's one way it is.
What fans do, I guess. Like analyze and follow and get interested.
They get interested and they want to get involved, and that's what we do. Baseball and basketball and football, we're always second guessing what should be done out there.
If you have a question for the coach, you can put it in the stream chat here on QSportsTalk.com. This one here, do you think Virginia's low-scoring play style is better or worse suited for the NCAA tournament time?
You got to have both in the NCAA tournament. When Virginia won the national championship, they could score. They scored a lot. Defense alone won't carry you in the NCAA. Everybody talks about defense. That's important, but you've got to score. The teams you're playing are good. So you get to the last 3 or 4 games, they're good teams, and you better be able to score. When we won, we outscored Kansas and Texas. They're good. They were good teams. We outscored them.
Coach, I know in the first hour you talked a little bit about the Buffalo Bills and that awful play that everybody witnessed. And fortunately, it seems as though there's going to be a positive outcome for the player there. But I think it's also a good time to give notice and to give a little shot and a shout out to medical people in arenas, because 99% of the time you don't know, or they're not called into action, and they're there. And I know Josh Allen today, if you saw that press conference there, saying those guys practice like we do. We just don't see them practicing, and hopefully you never see them.
If they didn't, 10 years ago, that would have been a bad outcome. 10 years ago. These guys were out there in a minute, had everything going. 10 years ago, it would have been 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and it would have been too late. I mean, they just know what they're doing. They're trained. They practice it. And you never know when that's going to happen. It's highly unusual for that type of injury in football, but they were ready for it, and they were right there.
And I know you watched, a lot of people watched today when the doctors were giving the update, and then Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, and I watched most of that. And if anybody watched it and didn't get a little bit of a lump in your throat, then you're not human, because that was just so much emotion going on there.
Yeah, I didn't see Coach or Josh talking, but I'm glad if they didn't have a good outcome, I don't know how they would be able to play football Sunday. At least now they've got a positive thing to look at, and hopefully they can get going again.
Question here: what defensive adjustment can you make for the play where Virginia enters it into the high post and then dribbles out to the top of the key to pull the 5 out past the free throw?
We have to bump that. We have to get, once he dribbles out, the guard has to take over. And you can do that most of the time. When they had Jerome, it was really hard because he was so good and clever. And if he dribbled out before the guard could get there, he could shoot it. And if the center didn't get back quick, he got it right in. So it's hard to do what he did. He was really good at it.
This one here, Coach, do some of the freshmen have attitude issues?
No, I don't think so. I think they have issues of being ready to play right now in terms of some of their defensive efforts and some of their rebounding stuff. But they're just immature. That's all.
They're young. They're freshmen.
That's right.
This one here, Kevin from Liverpool. Why can't you start Brown?
Because he's not better than Benny.
Plain and simple.
It's pretty simple. He's a better rebounder, but he's not the shooter or player that Benny is. He's going to be good, and he's playing. He's playing. He's going to play, but he's not a better player right now.
Coach Ryan here says he knows you're a big Bruce Springsteen fan. Have you seen the HBO Howard Stern interview?
Yes.
It's very good.
Very good. I've seen it. I saw his one-man show in New York. Very good. It was very, very good show.
How many times have you seen him?
I've only been to 6 concerts. It was funny. I was at one and I was sitting with a guy and he says, "Yeah, we've been to 30, but that's nothing. That guy down there has been to every concert Bruce Springsteen." I said, "What? Everyone? Like, what is that? 500 or something?" He stands right by the stage, and he's everyone. Germany, wherever he is, he goes to everyone. And there's a few of them that are in the 300s and 400s.
I saw a documentary. It was the band Rush, and they're talking about some of the fans like that. And a couple of the guys in the band are actually kind of freaked out by the fact that they look out every night and see the same 4 or 5 people standing there.
And they give them those front seats. I wish you should.
Yeah.
You should let them stand up on the stage, probably. But I love Springsteen, but I think about the 5th one,
that's enough.
That's good.
And he does 4-hour concerts at a time anyway.
Well, the first one I saw was 3.5 in Syracuse, and it was the best thing I've ever seen. And then second, it was good for 4, probably. Then it kind of, okay.
It's like, I got to go. It's midnight.
That's enough. I've seen enough of.
This one here during the Louisville game, Coach Corey Alexander was saying that he wants to convince Julie to let you coach for an even 50 years.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on hashtag JB50?
She would like me to coach for 60. Then I wouldn't be home that much. But who knows what the future holds.
Let me see here. On a scale from 1 to 10, how likely do you think that Luka Doncic finishes his career as a top 10 NBA player of all time? Do you think he has that kind of talent?
I do. I think he might be the best player in the league right now. It's hard because there's so many great players. Giannis and him. I certainly think those two guys kind of have pushed their way to the top. You know, you still have Steph, you still have Kevin Durant. Mitchell's starting to get into that category of players. LeBron's hanging on right now as being one of those guys, but I think in Jokic, to me, Mitchell's coming there, but to me, it's Doncic and Giannis. I think those two guys are the best players.
They make it look effortless when you're watching them.
They're just so good.
This one here, why don't you send all 5 guys to the glass to prevent the second chance points?
Well, we try to. Sometimes our guards are out defending, so they can't get back. But we try to get guys back in there. But most of the rebounds, there's a guy in position, and he should get it. And he doesn't. And it wouldn't matter if there was another guy back there because he should have gotten the other guy on the opposing team standing right there. So he gets it.
Who do you like in the national championship game coming up on Monday? TCU and Georgia.
I mean, Georgia's been the best team all year, so I don't know how you can go against them. You have to respect what TCU has done. I always hope it's just a good football game when they get down to that.
Those two to get there might have been the 2 best games in decades.
Great games.
For championship level games.
Great games.
That one ended like right at midnight. The Ohio State, like right when they were counting down the ball drop is when the end of the game came.
Yeah, great teams, great games.
Question here: how is Carmelo's son looking? This is from Jason.
Well, I can't talk about recruits. It's against the rules, but I'm not. I can't talk.
Can't talk. Okay, how about this one? How does Bell rebound in practice, or does Bell rebound good in practice?
No.
Plain and simple, just doesn't.
No, it's just not something we're trying to work on, trying to get better. But Justin's not a good rebounder either, so just not good.
And I think Joe, with the 7 that he had against Louisville, I mean, in most of those, it was the hustle part. You could just tell he was just going after him.
Yeah,
and that's really
that's what most rebounding is. Just go after the ball.
This one here, Coach. In your lifetime, who's the one player that you played with or against that you look back on with great reverence and pride?
Well, Dave Bing, who I played with, was an unbelievable player. And the players we played against, I mean, Chris Mullin was just a great player to watch what he could do out there.
Are any of those guys like Mullin that you recruited and didn't come here?
No, we didn't recruit Chris. We should have, but we didn't. It was St. John's Duke right from the beginning, and we never got in there. That's the year we recruited Pearl, and we're happy to get Pearl.
See, back to college football, Coach, and I know, again, we're talking about the portal and guys transferring, and I know Notre Dame got the quarterback from Wake Forest, and the Pitt head
But I mean, that's the danger in college football. If you're really good, somebody's going to give you $400,000 or $500,000 or $1 million or $2 million, and but he's committed to North Carolina, and it's been good for him, and probably will continue to be good for him.
Coach, here's a question going back to that Ohio State loss, the kid that missed the field goal at the end of the game there. As a coach, how would you handle a player like that kicker after losing and missing?
You just thank him for what a great job he's done in his career, and it's one play, and it's not yours. This is not on you.
Let me see here. There's some chatter about, and I think we mentioned this a couple weeks ago, the Buddy doll that I think was burned out of frustration, and now I think you guys are 7-1 since they got rid of that. I think Paulie, that was his.
Burn a few more.
Yep. This one here from Nate. Opinion on tournament expansion.
I've always been for it. It's not diluting the tournament. It's over. You can do it just like you do the play-in games. You could do 3 other play-in sites and do all the games there and start the tournament right on time. And you could actually put those playing games in the cities where they're going to be playing anyway, so that they wouldn't have to travel after the game like they do now, and put 4 sites in and put them where the sites are. And then you send them right there, and you add another, I don't know, what's that, 16 teams or something right there. And if the bad teams will be out and after one round, and so you don't dilute anything because they're gone. Those bad teams aren't winning. So it's a good thing. Gets more kids in the tournament, more exposure in different cities, better for the coaches, better for the fan bases. I see no issue with it.
How about on the football side? 'Cause I know there's already plans to go 12, and now they're saying, well, it's actually set up. We can do 16.
I think they should do 16, but whatever. When it was at 4, they said they'd never expand, and of course they did. And now it's 12. They'll say the same thing. It'll end up being 16.
Another coach here from Ryan. Coach, yesterday was the 8th anniversary of the passing of Stuart Scott from ESPN. Do you have any thoughts about Stuart Scott? Did you have many interactions with him?
Not a lot. I met him a couple times. He's just a really good guy and really sports guy. Knew what was going on. He was great. Stuart was great.
He actually spoke with him once, and only because there was a guy who applied for a job at the radio station who was coming from ESPN in Bristol and used him as a reference. So I called him. I half didn't believe him. It's like, why would Stuart Scott? What are you applying for this job for? And Stuart Scott answered the phone and chatted with him. He gave him a good thumbs up. He said, "Booyah! Yeah, kid's good." That was it.
Did we hire him?
Yes, we did, and we hired him. That was all. He's not there anymore, but that was maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago or however long ago it was. This one here from Jason. How has coaching a team full of freshmen changed your demeanor and or coaching style at all?
Yeah, I'm probably not as tough. I try to encourage them more than fight them or yell at them. It doesn't do any good. A guy that's been watching me for a long time says, "You really mellowed out." I said, "Well, it doesn't do any good to yell at some young kids. They just go."
So Paulie's not here today.
And people are just different now, obviously, and kids are different, and you got to adapt to that along the road.
It just doesn't work anymore, yelling. So you try not to. Once in a while you do, but you try not to.
Dwight Freeney's made it to the 1 out of 15 finalists for the NFL Hall of Fame.
He should make it. He's a great football player.
Had a big impact here, obviously, and in the NFL.
Yeah, great football player. He was probably 180 pounds when he was here.
Did he really
He was small. Yeah.
Dwight Freeney was?
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
180, 90, probably 190, but he was small.
Let me see here. Any other? See, Jen says, Coach, thanks for doing this. They enjoy the weekly chat, and Jen says, "Good luck at Virginia." And it's a cool way for people to enjoy and to chat and to log in and say hi here.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Thank you, Jen. And as far as you said Happy New Year to you, and New Year's Eve, you coached obviously BC in the Dome. Did you do anything after that?
Went to St. Urban, best place around. It was fabulous dinner. You have to go there if you haven't been there. It's just a great place. Unique. It's a different style. Great chef.
And Buddy was home. He made it right in Sis?
Yeah, he was home for just a couple of days, and he had to go back.
And how's he doing in the
He's
Detroit?
been hurt, but he's doing okay. 2-way contract playing the G League. He's done okay.
Let's see. Well, a couple other here before we start to wrap it up. Again, we'll be back here next week. And then, someone wants to know how's Buddy's injured toe. Is that the injury?
His toe. He's getting better, but it's frustrating. He's never really been hurt, so it's been frustrating for him.
It's amazing, just because of the era that we're in with social media and instant access to information, how much people know about everybody.
You can watch every game they play here, or Jimmy and Greece. You can watch every game. It's crazy.
Let me see here. And as far as Jimmy, how's he doing? 'Cause I know he couldn't come home for the holidays. But
He's doing okay. Good first year learning experience.
let me see here. This one, no disrespect meant to Gomez whatsoever, but wanted coach to see the magic.
What?
I don't know what that.
What did he say?
Wanted coach to see the magic.
So Paulie is not here today, but it is not a day off.
I don't know the magic. I think there's a.
Hey, buddy, doll.
Oh, okay. So there. I'm sorry. That's the burning of the Buddy doll.
Oh,
Sorry about that, Jordan. I didn't
was
see
that, Buddy?
It was a Buddy.
Yeah, I'll explain it to
You
you.
explain this, and then we'll wrap it up. But yes, go ahead.
You guys were struggling during the COVID year, so I bought my Buddy doll, which was a toy from the 80s,
okay.
and you guys went on that run through getting through San Diego State, and then when Buddy left, everything's kind of gone down, was kind of going sour there, so I burned it and
Turned it around.
7-1 cents.
Like a voodoo doll.
Nice going, Paul. You're responsible for us. All right, appreciate it.
No problem. You can
man.
chalk me up a couple wins there.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, thank you. And Jordan, back at the Rock and Roll Radio Ranch, thank you for doing that as well. And Paulie here at Carrabba's and the staff. And the coach will talk to you on the radio tomorrow in the paint at 7:40. And then back here live again at the Carrabba's for the radio show and the QSportsTalk.com chat. So, Coach, best wishes. Go Orange.
All right.
See you next week. And thanks to everybody here tonight for joining us on QSportsTalk.com. See you next time.